So select. So select helps us create select options. So we can actually make options between several items on a drop down. So the name of this, I would name it text track. So like I said, you should always take on the habit of naming your variables and your attributes and your IDs with descriptive language, so that you know what each one is doing at each point in time. Alright, and then we'll have the option. So there's an option now within our select. There's an option tag that will actually take in each option within the select tag. So the first option would be the title. So it will be Alx Tech Track. So this is what will be displayed at first, and I will give it a value of TT, that is tech track. So I'll just copy and paste this over and over again. So there are about 9 of them here. So I'll just I'll double this, copy, paste. Now we'll do these times 2. Yeah. Okay, so I have 8 of them here. So I only need one more. So and so we have 9. So we have an Alx tech track, and the first tech track we have is software engineering. And second we have is the data science. The third we have is data analysis. And the next one we have here is Amazon Web Services, which is AWS. Amazon Web Services. And the next one we'll have is Salesforce. So these are options for the different tech tracks within the Alx community that learners can choose from. Then we have virtual assistants. We have AICE. And then we have others. Then I'll just change the value to SC DS DA. Of course, it will be AWS. And then this will be Salesforce. And we're going to have VA. So I'm just taking in the initials for each of the tech track option. So VA, this is AICE, and of course this will be others. The reason why we have these others is Alx might decide to create more options in the near future that we don't have on this list. Right, and so the next thing we would also want to create another select. So this select would basically identify the gradation status. This might be good for data analysis. Maybe when our site is fully set up, this might be good. We might be able to say, okay, how many graduated students have posted, or how many learners have posted, or how many intending learners have posted, so we can get an analysis of these data sets. So basically, the name of this group is going to be grad status, and the ID is also going to be grad status, which is graduation status. Right, so just keep it simple. So it's a select. So I'm going to create the end tag or the closing tag, and then inside of each one we also get to have an option. So an option. So the first option will be the title. So it's going to be graduation status, and the value is going to be GS. And I'm also going to be, so I'm going to be doing a copy and paste to make our lives faster. Alright, so I'm also going to do this once more. Alright, so this is for the intending learners, that is, they've not been accepted yet. Let's say they've registered, but they've not been accepted yet, or they've not been confirmed. Then we would have something for the learner. That is, you are a current learner, and then the next one will be for the fellow. This would mean that you have graduated. So I'll put in the values, learner, intending. Alright. Okay. So I'll just use LER, FEL, GRS. Yes, that should be fine. Alright, and so we've been able to set up our graduation status, and to finish this off. So we are going to be having the input type for our password. So I'm going to type the input, and yeah, this input type will be password. Good. And this is going to be, now if you guys notice something, the input type is a self-closing tag. That is, it doesn't have an opening or an end tag. It's one tag that opens and closes within itself. Alright, so we also have self-closing tags within HTML. So this one is going to be for the password. So this one we're having password 1 is that this is the first password, but it would need to be typed twice for it to be confirmed. So the first one will be the first typing, and the second one will be the confirmation. So this is how we make that happen. So we have a placeholder text. The placeholder text will be enter password. Alright, so this is fine. This is fine. Enter password. So I have an input with the type of password and the name. For database configuration is password 1, our ID is password 1, and our placeholder is enter password. And so we're also going to be having an input, or let me just copy and paste this. This is going to be password 2. This is going to be password 2. It's going to be password 2. Here I'm going to have confirm password. So the last thing I want to create within this form tag is our button. So this button, when clicked, would post all of the inputs made by the user to the back end of our application. But we have not set that up yet. So the button would take in a type of submit. So we'll just click the suggestion to make our lives easier. Sign up, and it should be fine. So the next thing we want to do right now is to start working the index.css for each of the files. So we've done for the header bar. So what I would like to do right now is I would want to I want to set my views to HTML. So I have my view set, and I already have my auto.py set. Okay, that's good. And so for my sign.html, so for my header bar, for the H1 within it, I would actually need to set it to a white color so that this can actually show up on my page, because it's not going to be showing up currently. So I need to set the color within it. So I'll set the color to white on black, white on the white header bar. I will align the items to the center of my page, right? And so now I have to style the form itself. So I would create the styling for my form. So the first styling will be for my main form itself. So I'll styling for my form. So I'll say form. So form is not an ID or a class. It's a self-existing tag in itself. So I'll be having a display of flex for my form. So I want it to be a flex, but this time I do not want it to be take on a row. I want it to take on a column. I want it to be top to bottom. And I want to justify the content to the center. Of course, I want to align all items within to the center, and I want to give it a margin top of 60 pixel, so that the form is quite separate from the header bar, and I will give it a margin bottom of 5 pixel, so that it's also quite separated from all from items under it. All right. Okay. Okay, so I'm seeing that. So I created this outside of the form, so I'll fix that. Um, I'll just cut that. So I'll just cut that. So I'll paste it. And so now I have the minimum styling for my page, and so now I can do a styling for my For my button, so I want to do a styling for my button. So for all the buttons on my page, I would have one styling. And if I do not want that styling for a certain button, then I would, because there are a lot of buttons on the page and I would not want to be doing it over and over again. So I'll just go to my index.css and just click on the styling button. So any button that I would not want to take on this styling, I would now spell it out with inline styling, right? Because most of them will be having the same styling. So I'm giving all the button a background color of black. The text on it will be white. The width will be 425 pixel. The height will be 40 pixel. It's going to have a border radius of 5 pixel on all of the edges. Then it's going to have a font size of 20 pixel. It's going to have the font weight of bold and a margin button of 30 pixel. All right. And so the next thing I want to do is I want to set a styling for my input, for all of my input tags. Yeah, I want to set a styling for all of my input. So basically for all of my input, I want it to have a color. So there is going to be this color, and then the width for each of them is going to be 400 pixel. The height is going to be 33 pixel. It's going to have a bit border radius of 5 pixel, a padding left of 20 pixel, and a margin bottom of 20 pixel. Then we are now going to have a border, that is the edge around each of the inputs. It's going to be 1.4 pixel thick. It's going to be solid, and it's going to be grayish black. All right. And so the next now I want to also style is the select itself. So the select itself. So I'll also pull up the styling for my select. So the color for the text within our select will be this gray, and then we're going to have a width of 425 pixel, height of 40 pixel, and a border radius of 5 pixel, the padding length of 20 pixel, the margin bottom of 20 pixel, and we're going to have a border of 1.4 pixel each. It's also going to be the border is going to have a thickness of 1.4 pixel. It's going to be solid, and the color is going to be RGB. All right. And so this is not looking bad at the moment. So the next thing I want to do is I would actually want to set a margin bottom um, below the password area so that there can be spacing between the password and the button. So this is the last thing we're going to be doing on our sign up page. So I basically have two kinds of password, and then password 2. I think, yeah, password 2, yes. So this password, we're not using it yet because this is going to be for our login page, but this password 2 is going to be for the current page we are in, and they are both IDs. So like IDs have a hash right in front. Yeah, password 2. Let me. So I'm just going to bring in the margin bottom. So I'm not going to be setting this yet. Oh, let me just set it. No, I won't. Let me just keep it for now. There's a margin bottom of 30 pixels. So this will separate the last password, which is password 2 here. This password 2 with this ID. So it will have is I'm basically creating a margin bottom here. So there will be a space between this password and this button. That's what I'm setting here. Okay, so our sign up page is looking good now. It's looking good now. All right. So the next thing I want to set is our login page. So I'll go to login and I'll set the language to HTML. All right. And so like we've done on other pages of our application, yeah. So I would also want to extend the base.html to this site. All right. So the login page is like the sign up page, but with fewer lines of code. All right. Okay. So I will do my Jinja. I'll do my percent, and then that will be, and then we'll do extends. That we're extending our base.html. So I said our sign up page is like our login page. So I'll just basically copy some syntax. So copy this syntax. I'm also going to be having a form. So I'll just copy this syntax. Here. It's now pasted. So now, but this is not going to be sign up. This is going to be login. It's going to be login. All right. So I've opened this. So now I have to also create an end block for this block content. Let me just copy it. You just copy and paste. All right. Okay. So I'll just come to my login page. And employ the technology of copy and paste. Okay, so this div is opened and closed. This form is not closed. So all right. So I'm just basically showing you that the sign up page and the login page have similar structures. All right. And so inside this form, we are going to be having just 3 elements, which will be two inputs, and a button. So the inputs we are going to be needing is the email and the password. So I can copy that too from my sign up page. Input and password. So I have the email. All right. So this is going to be my login. And so I'll just call this email 2. Not the type, the name and the ID. All right, And then I'm going to be having my second input type, which is our password. So I'll just copy that too. But I will not be naming this password 112. I'll just name it password. So the name and the ID will be password. Okay. Go to my index.css. No, not the not. So I'll go to my login and I'll also do copy and paste for this. Okay. So I'll remove the one to make it unique actually. So the first password we have on our sign up page is password 1 and password 2. So this one will just be password. So this is okay. This is okay. And this is okay. So now, if we look at our Figma, we'd actually see that there's a forgot password and you don't have an account sign up thingy. So we'll do that actually. So create an A tag. So this A tag would wrap. This A tag will wrap the forgot password. We'll actually make it a link. So forgot what? Forgot password. But this will not be going anywhere currently. And I'll also give it an internals. I'll give it a class of hot links. Get a class of hot links. So that is why the hot links was made a class, because I knew that I'll actually be using this for other styles within my page. And then I'll do an internal styling. I'll give it a margin bottom of 0 pixel. So I really don't want it to be separated from, or I do not want a margin between this and what's coming after it. Alright, and then I would also create a don't have an account sign up tag. So I'll also create another A tag, and I also give it a class of hot links. Class of links. So I don't have to write this hot links CSS all over again. I've already done it once, so I don't have to repeat myself. So don't have an account. So is the link. When I click this link, something will happen. Don't have an account. And I'll put a non-breaking space. I'll put a non-breaking space here. Non-breaking space. Then I can now wrap my sign up in a span. Though I wouldn't be using this here, but normally, like, I can just style it in such a way that it is when you click on the sign up that the link would actually work in that. I can actually wrap the span inside a link. But I just want to show you how that is, but I won't really be we won't actually be putting that to work here. So I'll just do span. And inside the span we have our sign up. This will still work without the span actually. So the span just allows you to select elements within an H1 or a P tag actually. Alright. So this should be fine. Okay, so there's a little issue with my syntax here. This should be, yeah. Alright, so now I should be able to view my login page. So I don't have my button yet, so I'll just go in and bring my button there. So after adding in the button, this page should be complete. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just types. So the next thing we'll be building will be we built our base, we built our home.html, built our sign.html. So the next thing I want us to build is our Alx write. So in our Alx stories write, we're going to be creating a page where users can actually go and write their own stories. So this is going to be much like the so I'm going to just copy from the login page. I'm going to copy the template from the login page because they are similar, and I'll just change some of the Alx stories right here, right? So of course there's a form, but this form doesn't take in an input. This input types that we have here takes in a text area. Then the header bar doesn't take in login. It takes in Alx stories. Alx stories. So this is the Alx stories page. So this Alx stories page where we can actually write our content. So this form, I would want it to take in an ID. Taking an ID. So ID. So the reason why that is not working is because we haven't changed this to change the language to HTML. So I'll just do that now. So my ID, I would want my ID to be submit from. And so inside of this, I would want to create a text area. So the text area is quite different from an input in that an input is styled in a different way. It's automatically styled in a different way. The text area is a type of input where you can actually adjust your box yourself. An input, a user cannot adjust it, but a text area, a user can actually adjust it to actually fit what they want. So a text area also has a closing tag, an opening and a closing tag, but an input is a self-closing tag. So I'll say create your own story. Create your own story. So that's gonna be the text within. No, I really don't want to create this text. I want to add a placeholder. Sorry, so I want to create a placeholder. So this is the name. The name is right. Then the ID. I want the ID to be right. So I want to give it a column. So I want to give it a column number of 55. So this will affect the height. So I want to give it a 55. This will affect the height. It's like the number of columns that I want. And the rows, I want the rows to be 15. So alright, and I now want to create a placeholder for our text area. Placeholder. The placeholder for our text area will be, I'll say create your own story. So this will tell the users the action intended to be taken. Create your own story. Good. But I'll want to break this to a new line. I want to break this to a new line. And so for our button is also going to have the type of submit, but the text within it will say submit story. And here we only have one link, so we don't need these two link styles. So it's going to be one, and that's gonna have a link. So I'm not linking this anywhere. It's also going to take in a class of what links. We're not going to be adding an internal styling here. And this link will say edit your own story, or let's say edit your story. Edit. Sorry. Edit your story. So right now our ALX story is right. Page should be fine. So for the ALX story is right, I would want to set a styling for the text area, and this styling I'll say resize. So I don't want it to be resizable. So I told us that well, it can be resized, but I wouldn't want this to be resizable. So I'll say resize none. I don't want it to be resizable. Yeah. Next time is right. And actually check it. So this is okay. For our profile page, I already have this page coded up, so I'll explain what each line does. I guess we are used to the structure of our pages right now. So we extend our base.html file, and then we have an ALS blog title. Now we can change this per page, maybe to profile or something else. And then we have a block content, a block with the value of content, and this is basically something we are inheriting from the base .html file. And then we have a class called profile, an h1 called profile, and then we have a profile.main. So our profile.main would house um, a div called profile image, and then inside this div would have an image and would have a text that will say change your image. So for this, we are not we are basically not navigating it to any part of our page, because we are not basically activating that functionality currently. And so we have an image of our user. This is the profile page. So we have an image of our user that is called from this directory, and And then we have a profile image section. Then there's a section for the information of the user, and then we have the username, the tech track, and then the email address. And so we'll style this with an ID of info, so we can all style them together. And so we also have a link. So this link, this this link is basically wrapping around an edit profile information paragraph tag, as you can see here. That when it is clicked, we can edit our information, but this is not leading anywhere at this moment. And so we'll be giving this an ID of text info image change, and then we'll do an internal styling of padding right of 20 pixel, and then we'll also have an H1 here with a value of your story. And so this will also have an inline styling of padding 0 pixel and margin of 0 pixel. We don't want any padding or margin. And we have an idea of text black center to make this black and to also center it. So here we are bringing our hero explainer board into this place, right? The same width. And inside this hero explainer board, we're going to be having an image. We're going to be having a text. So this image is the image of a quotation mark, and then what the person wrote. So this is basically your story, and this will be followed by the quotation mark and the feedback from the user. So you can see these line breaks. This basically drops each line of the comment on a new paragraph, or on a new line, basically. And then we now have another div that's outside of that, the story link create new with a story link create new ID, and we have a link that allows to create a new story and that allows to edit your story. So the ID for the create new story a tag is text black center on the line, and this is linking to the ALX stories right page. And we have the edit your story p tag wrapped within this a tag that's not leading anywhere at this point. Alright, and this will have an idea of text black center on the line. And by the time we come to our index of CSS, we've also written that to actually shorten the length of this video. So you can see our CSS styling. So you can see our profile main has a display of flex, and it's flexed towards a row, and the justification is towards the center. We also have the text info image change. These are the texts on which we can actually click, the A tags that we can click that can actually allow us to change our image, and this one will allow us to edit our information. The image change too. They will have a color of black, a text correction of underline, a font size of 15 pixel, and a padding right of 70 pixel each. Then we have the info. So if we come back to our profile page, you can see that the info tag here. So they all have a background color of RGB. So the background is white. So this is white, you can see, but it's not. It's like a gray color actually, to actually not be so conspicuous, but to actually give a support for the text to actually be on. Then we have a border radius of 40 pixel. The font size is 32 pixel. It's taking a padding left and right of 30 pixel each, and we are aligning it to the left side. And then we have our text black center. We're basically giving a color of black, and we are aligning the text to the center. Then we have an explainer text paragraph. So our explainer text paragraph, you can see it here. So this text, explainer text paragraph, this is the styling. The color is white. The font weight is normal. the text align is centered. The font size is 15 pixels. The padding left and right is 10 and 20 pixels each. And then we have the story link, create new. So I will come here. After our story link, create new, and this basically this will have a flex direction of row, and then the elements within it they are aligned to center, and then the elements are justified to the center of the page. Then we have a margin top of 20 pixel and a margin bottom of 10 pixel, and then we have a text black center underline and text black center underline too, which is our A tag. This is it. I'll create new story and edit your story. So they are the ones taking on these IDs. And when we see it, they are both black, they are justified center, and the text align is also centered. The text decoration is underlined, that is, they are underlined, showing that they are clickable links. But the font weight is quite different. The first, the font weight to actually edit. So the first one is underlined, create new story. Yeah. The create new stories has a font weight of normal, but to edit your story, it has a font weight of bold, and the padding left for this is 30 pixel, the padding right for this is 30 pixel. They both have a font size of 15 pixel each. Alright, and then the last page we'll be having is our ALX stories read page. For our ALX stories read, we also have it already coded. We have it already coded. So we're sending our base.html to this page. It has a title of ALX blog, and then within this block with the value of content, we now have this. So we have a div class of header bar exactly, and the h1 for this page is ALX stories. Alright, that's like the header for this story. For this page, it's ALX stories. Then we have a div with the ID of read story section. And within that, we have an image. So this image is for the user. So this is the ALX stories read page. This page basically houses all of the feedback or comments we've gotten from all of the users on our page. Alright, so we have the image of the person who has given the comment. So this read story section will embody all of the content for each user. So the first thing we have is the image, and the image will have a width and height of 170 pixels each. The alternate text will be in user mail, just in case there's a problem with network, or you set your images to not show up on the web page. Maybe you're conserving data. And then you have a style of margin left 23 pixel. And then we have another div within the read story section. This div is called the read individual stories, and this read individual stories would contain a paragraph text, and horizontal rule, and another div. So there's an image on the left side, and on the right side there's another div that contains a comment, and then an horizontal rule that separates the comment from the details about the writer of the comment, basically. So the p tag is read individual story. The ID is read individual stories. And then we have a p tag with the value of explainer text paragraph read, but this has been shortened. And then we have this comment actually. Alex has hugely contributed to my journey as a data scientist. I have learned relevant skills in the world of data science, and I've gained better knowledge in presenting myself as a professional. And so we have a line break to make sure that this texts oh yes, these texts are properly justified. Then we have an horizontal row. We've set the color to a blanked almond. The blanked almond. With the horizontal row has a width of 355 pixel and a height of 2 pixel. We are not giving this horizontal row any margin or any padding. And then the last thing we have within this div is another div. So there's a div, and then we are doing an inline styling of we are setting the display to flex and the flex direction to row. So all of these p tags will be set in a row. They will all be arranged in a row. So this Tunde Onikoyi, data science and learner will all be set to a row. They'll be aligned to the center. That is, they will all be on the same plane, and the justify content will be centered. So they will all be at the center of this particular div. Alright, and then I have set the ID for each p tag in such a way that they can be individually targeted. Let's say with JavaScript or whatever the backend person would actually like you to use. So there's a info storage name, info storage track, info storage status. So the first one is the name, the tech track, and the status. Right. So all of these p tags are housed within this div, and this div is housed within this read individual stories div, and now all of them are now housed within the read story section, which also has an image. So that's the concept of having a div inside a div inside a div. Alright, and then the last thing we have on this page is our read more stories. So there's a p tag read more stories that is wrapped within an a tag, a link tag. So when this is clicked, this will take us to our ALX stories read page. And this has an ID of text, black, center, underline. And by the time we go to our index.css, we can see the styling. For our read story section, this is the rectangle that encapsulates all of the content within our for each user within our ALX stories read page. So it has a border of 2 pixel, 2 pixel thick. It has a solid. It's a solid, and it has a color of black. Then it has a width of 720 pixel. The height is 220 pixel. The display is flexed, and the flex direction is row. It is justified to the center, and the contents within it, they are all aligned to the center too. Now each element within this will have a gap of 20 pixel each, and then there's a margin of 60 pixel at the top. So this will separate the read story section from the header bar, and then it has an auto margin on the left and on the right, and on the bottom it has no margin. Well, we might want to set this to 10 pixel so that when a new user creates a new story, there will be a space between those two user stories. And then there's a read individual stories. So when we go to our ALX stories read, so this basically has the board that contains our user story, the horizontal row, and the details of the person who submitted the story. So if we go to our index.css, we see that it has a background color of black, a width of 460 pixel, a height of 170 pixel. Display is also flex, but this time the flex direction is column from top to bottom. And then we have a justified content that is justified to the center, and all the elements within or the items within this is also centered. There's a margin on the top of 20 pixels, and all of the other margins are set to auto. So for the text within this, the color is set to white, the font weight is set to normal, the text align is centered. So we can see that these values will work for the comments that is actually made by the user on this page. So the font size is set to 15 pixel and the padding on the top of the text is also set to 10 pixel. So now for each name, for the name and for the status, they each have a color of white, a padding, they don't have any padding, the font size is set to 12, and the padding bottom is set to 10 pixel. But for the info, read stories track for the track. So if we come here, we can see that the track, the name, and the status. But for the track, would have a different color, so that there can be some distinction between those three elements. And then the last one we'll have on this page is the Alx stories read. The text black center underline tag, and this is for this read more stories. So you can see the read more stories that can be clicked to actually take us to the Alx stories read page. It have a color of black, it justifies content of center, text align of right, text decoration of underline, font weight is bold, and the margin left is 300 pixels, and the font size is 15 pixels. So we can see that this is looking good. Our profile page is looking good, and our Alx stories read page is also looking good. So now we've set the link, the navigation link to all of our sites. Now you can see the navigation links. We set it here. This goes to login. So make sure that you set the navigation for all of the navigation links on your website, so that each link goes to the right location. All right, and this will be the end of our of this episode on the front end of our application. Next week we'll be looking at the back end of this application, and we'll also be looking at how to dynamically render part of this web page. Thank you for sticking around, and we are so glad that we could actually walk this journey with you, and we will be cheering you on your journey to becoming a globally relevant programmer. Thank you, and bye bye.